Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Soul Talk, and today we got a special treat because in the house I have Anthony Harris, co-founder of Dance Mogul Magazine. Hey Anthony, how are you?
How you guys doing? Thank you for
Jersey.
having me.
Yeah, thanks you for joining us. I appreciate it. I cannot wait to talk about Dance Mogul Magazine. But before we get into it, just tell us a little bit about your dance background.
Well, I started dancing when I was 13, but I was always around dance because my father was a dancer. He was a street dancer and he was a tap dancer. So I was always around dance. And when I was 13, I just got the bug, to dance. And, I've been dancing ever since. And throughout that journey, I've traveled, I've done tours, I've done videos, and just the typical, the dancer journey. It's only so much that we can do, especially growing up in the times that we did. It wasn't that many opportunities as it is now. So, but I've been dancing since I was 13, and that's how I pretty much got started. I got started to pretty much keep myself out of trouble, and get through school. So it was kind of like a therapeutic thing for me at first, and then it turned into something serious for me.
Nice. So then when you were younger, as it started to become serious, did you feel like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm going to do for a living. This is going to be my career, or how did that come about?
Well, you only can do, what you see, as far as TV and things like that. I remember in high school, I had wrote down, they was like, well, what do you want to do? And my only goal was just to be in a dance video. And I accomplished that. And it was like, at that time, it wasn't anything else that, I really wanted to do. We didn't know anybody in the industry. There wasn't things locally, in New Jersey for us to do or anything like that. So you were pretty much, making your own way, making your own path. So it was just, things that I ran into is like, okay, I want to do that, Yeah. I ran into a group of guys and, I want to join a crew now, things like that. It was as the universe sent things to me, that's what I did and that's what I aspired to do. But that was pretty much it.
Nice. So then how did you go about, getting your video or your first kind of projects if you kind of was just in the community, and how did that work?
No, it was actually, we were working hard as the dance group, and, it was a group of us, 6 guys, and we all had different personalities and different networks and different friends. And those types of opportunities came, from those people. They saw us working hard and they had friends and connections, and they decided to connect us after they saw, how serious we were. And so that's how it came about. The first video we did was, Tiara Marie, Make a Girl Feel Good. And that was crazy because that day Jay-Z rolled up in his Maybach, and it had like the curtain on it or whatever. So we took a picture in front of that. It was cool. And he came and, sat on the stoop with Tiara Marie. Freeway was there. Memphis Bleak was there. I remember we got a picture with him. So it was like a whole cool experience. And Dave Scott was the choreographer.
Okay.
I remember that. And it was I think we were in Harlem, for that shoot. But it was a great experience, and that came, just from us working hard and people seeing that and thinking that, well, these guys deserve a shot.
Right. I love that. And so basically community is something I always talk about, how important it is to be plugged into a community, be working, be training. And you never know what kind of opportunities can come from that type. I can't tell. I write about it all the time in the blog. I can't tell you how many jobs I've gotten just from being in class, being connected, being at a show, just being in the community and doing, like you said, your due diligence training and just kind of being on top of stuff. So, I love that kind of reinforcement.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
So then how did you go from like performing and being in crews to now having Dance Mogul Magazine, which is an incredible...
Well, that was interesting because as the crew thing was winding down, like me and my crew, we had stopped like the year that America's Best Dance Crew had came out. So we were pretty much done. But as you know, that became big at the time and, more opportunities came. But I personally went on, my own journey as far as, finding myself and what I wanted to do with dance.
Mm-hmm.
And in between that time, I saw the impact that me and my crew would have on the different children at the schools we would go perform at. And I'm like, well, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can teach. So I started teaching. And within that journey of teaching, I started linking with other dancers from other states, finding out about their dance scenes and different things, just whatever else was going on, because I was in Jersey, and like I said, it wasn't a lot there for me. You understand? So I always had to go outside of my comfort zone, to find different things for me to get into. And my dad saw that. He saw that journey that I was on. Social media was coming out, and so I was being more social and finding people online, and then going to like Memphis and DC and Florida, all these different things. And my dad would hear my stories when I came back, and it came to him that, well, I kind of see what you guys are missing. And he was like, you guys are missing a voice. You guys need a voice. And so that's where it came from. So with me on the front line, finding out about what the need was in the community, that's what translated, back to my dad. And he was like, okay, well, we're going to do a magazine and you guys can be heard, but also things that you need as far as resources can be put into the magazine. Like, you guys need to finance your dance, so you guys need to know about credit and things like that. So all those different things that we need personally, as a culture, he mixed that along with a dance journey. And that's how the magazine actually came about.
Nice. How has that journey been for you? Like, what's been your biggest challenges
Well, the magazine actually moves like an actual dancer. Like, it's ups and downs, it's drama, it's a lot of stuff, but it's not nothing that we can't handle. But it's an actual living energy. So we're not exempt, to the daily, trials and tribulations like anybody else, So, but it's been great. All those things have, taught us so many lessons, and we're so grateful for the good, the bad, the ugly, the awesome, all of that. You gotta be, because all of that happens to you for a reason.
Nice.
It's for you to learn, so that's what the journey's been like. And it's a never ending journey, because it's based on purpose. That's what the magazine is based on. It's based on the purpose of inspiring self-empowerment. And that's never ending, that it's not going to end with one dancer or one choreographer. Like, we don't have to get self-empowerment from a dancer. We can, get self-empowerment from a homeless person.
Mm-hmm.
A homeless person can tell you how they became homeless.
Right.
And within that story, there's a lesson that you can learn. So that's the approach that we take with it. And people that buy into that concept, like the different choreographers, Chuck Maldonado, Frank Gaston, Lorianne Gibson, like, they get it, and they give us their empowerment. They talk to us, they sit down, and they tell us what they wish somebody would have told them, when they were coming up. And that's all it's about. It's just, if people choose to listen or not. These people have been in the industry, 20 plus years or more, and it's like, well, like I was telling you earlier, I didn't have that guidance, and neither did my father. So it's like, we want to give the next generation what we didn't have. And that's an opportunity to, hear these people's story and kind of carve out their own path, based upon that empowerment.
Absolutely, which is exactly what we're doing here at the Working Dancer, which is exactly why I wanted to share your story with starting something like that, because I don't think that we as dancers in the community don't always get, I guess, images, or maybe it just wasn't talked about, or maybe it was over my head. I don't hear people talking about, oh, I'm a dancer, and then they also have this type of business, unless it's, like a competition or a studio, or, you know what I mean? So you don't see a lot of, or hear a lot of stories about dancers who are actually making moves in other ways, especially business-wise, right? And so it was important for me to have people like you on, so that people can see and open their eyes and enlarge their vision that, oh, maybe I can have a magazine as well, or a blog, or, any type of endeavor or opportunity that you would like to create for yourself, that is absolutely possible. And I love that you're also sharing stories, because those are things that we need to hear,
Dance itself as a whole is coming out of the shadows. And the good thing about that is that not only the dancers are coming from behind the artists, the actual need for resources in dance is growing. So someone like yourself who is a blogger, who's a journalist, there's a need for you now. You understand what I'm saying? There's a need for more people that can do more things to actually grow the culture. Before, it was never needed because all people aspired to do was dance behind other artists. But
Right.
now people, we're getting back to the era where there's dance stars now. Like, we had like the Gene Kellys and, you
Mm.
know, Fred Astaire's and people like that. Like, those people were actually dance stars, and they put together their own productions and numbers, and they had their own backup dancers as dancers and choreographers. So it's getting to that point now, and people just need to find where they can fit in. Like, we all have different gifts. You understand? We all can dance. That's the easy part. We've all been dancing for years now. That we can do. That's just self-expression. But in order for us to grow as dancers, as a community, as a culture, we need to use those other gifts to elevate ourselves. And if we don't have those gifts, we need to reach outside of our comfort zone to bring in people. That's another thing. Dance needs to bring in outside people. We need to bring in lawyers. We need to bring in grant writers. We need those people if we can't do it ourselves. The focus needs to be on that, not so much the dancing and the viral videos. Like, that stuff is cool, and it keeps things on people's minds, and you can get sponsorship and stuff like that. That's cool. We know that works already, but at some point we need to start adding to the base to make all this stuff sustainable. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, honey, you just said a mouthful, and amen to all of that. You are absolutely right, and you very well said. Very incredible thought about dance stars coming back, and love that relationship to former dance stars, Sammy Davis Jr., all of those type of people. And I didn't even think about it in that way. That absolutely we're coming back around to dance stars, and absolutely we need to pull. Yes, I love that. That was an incredible thought. Very well said. So can you tell us what's been your biggest challenge with dance, like having an endeavor and creating your own opportunity like Dance Mogul Magazine?
I think that, like I said, we're not exempt to anything. I think that we've ran into everything that a minority business runs into. The lack of support from your own, just that whole thing, jealousy, envy, just all of that stuff, racism. We run into all of that stuff, and it's like, you live and you learn from it, and you grow from it, and once you experience it, you know what it looks like. So it's like, you can start to avoid certain stuff. You don't have to entertain everybody or anything. Once you find your moral compass, you let that guide you. You don't let anybody try to compromise you and different things like that. And it's gonna happen. Like, it happens all the time, because people want what they want. But if you let your moral compass guide you, and let your purpose lead, you kind of just stay on that road, whether it's slow and steady or fast. That's the thing. You just have to have patience, because the universe is going to give you what you want. You just have to be ready for it when it comes. It may take 10 years, or you may get it in 3. But if you do get it in that 3, are you ready to, take on the other 7 years once you have it? Like, whether you come into money or a situation with staff and stuff like that. Because, as people in general, we want a lot. But, are we ready for it, or are we willing to, sacrifice for it? But, we've had the same challenges as any other regular business. It doesn't matter if it's a dance magazine or whatever it is. We've had all those same challenges, and you meet them, and it's either you let them conquer you or you conquer those challenges.
Yeah, you better preach in here, Anthony, giving us church on a on a Monday evening. So I'm talking as if everyone that is around the working dancer is familiar with Dance Mogul Magazine. So for those of them who are not, you've already touched on empowerment and that type of thing. Can you give an overview of what your mission is with Dance Mogul Magazine, and then lead us into how they can find it online?
Yes. DanceMogul.com is always the best way to find the magazine, the latest magazine. And we're always updating the site weekly with different articles, whether it's from up and coming dancers and their journey,
Mhm.
or industry choreographers that's been in the industry for years. So that's always the best way to find out what's going on with Dance Mogul magazine is dancemogul.com. I mean, we're on social media and things like that, and all that stuff is cool, but that's another thing I want to reiterate to people is like, you want to have your own. Like, we control dancemogul.com. We can't control Facebook. We can't control YouTube, Instagram. If those things shut down tomorrow, according to those, we wouldn't exist.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you have your own website and you have your own identity, you want to take pride in that. You want to build that up also, because to be honest, when you put a lot of your content on social media, they own it. Like, people don't really know that, but they do. Like, every time you put a picture or whatever, like, they have the rights to it because it's their platform.
Right.
So yeah, dancemogul.com is always the best way, and we're always going to different events. You can see us in person, whether it's a workshop or a b-boy competition, or being on set somewhere. We're always physically moving. That's why I said the magazine is like a dancer. We do things with the dancers in mind, meaning that maybe we should go to this set because we'll be able to show the dancers the behind the scenes of how this works. So when it's their time, they can be ready for it. They know not to come in here with a bad attitude and dressing all sloppy. Like, that's we kind of take on the front line aspect of that first, and seeing what that's like, and we bring that back to the actual dancer. It's like we go take the punches for them and
Right.
come back and bring them the information. That's pretty much how the magazine works, and that's all it's about. And some people want to share their life and their journey, and some people don't. So that's pretty much it. We don't really take it personal, because everybody is not in that mode of wanting to give to other people. Some people don't want people on the same level as them, and just all those different things. And back to what we encounter, those are some of the things that we encounter. It's just, you can sum it up as just selfishness. You either have people that are selfish or selfless. That's how you pretty much separate people nowadays. So the magazine, clearly it's a giving thing. The magazine always has hundreds of dancers in it, so clearly we're giving those people a voice, so that those dancers can give other young dancers an opportunity to get information. That's what the magazine is really about, and that's what it does within itself. Whether it was me and my father doing it or anybody, a platform like that should be about that. It should be about giving.
I agree wholeheartedly. And so then, to sum us up, can you share with us maybe like your number one piece of advice, or maybe something you've taken from all of the advice you've gotten from contributors to your magazine? Like, what do you feel like is maybe one of the top one or two things a dancer should know about this dance life?
My number one piece of advice would be, you got to know yourself. In order to succeed with anything you want to do, but especially with dance is the type of journey. Once you figure yourself out, that's when you'll know how you want to use your body, which is an actual instrument, and not just use it as far as dance, but use it in terms of making a living. Because if you don't know yourself, you'll compromise yourself and put yourself in a position where other people are using you for this, that, and the third, and you like, how did I get here? I was trying to be a ballerina. How did I ended up at King of Diamonds? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what happens when you don't know yourself, and you end up being somewhere where you didn't plan on being. So you have to figure yourself out. And I'm not saying that like that's an easy thing, because it took me years to find myself. And I'm still finding new things about myself now and about my personality and things like that. But, you have, like I said, you have to find that moral compass that tells you, like, well, I'm definitely not going to do this and I'm definitely not going to do that. So when it's presented to you, you can be like, well, no, thank you. And you can walk away and still feel good about yourself. So my number one thing is finding yourself, and also reading a lot. You dancers gotta read. You gotta read books, like, and everything isn't about dance. A lot of things like about marketing and about life, and you gotta read books, man. A good book. One of my mentors told me was The Go Giver. That was a great book. Another book was To Lead is to Serve. Um, the origin of brands. As a dancer, you need to know these things. You need to know about marketing, branding, and these things. And this information is not privy to dance education, because dance education is just that. It's just about, dance and, the people that came before us and technique and stuff like that. But when it comes to being a business and a brand, you have to go outside of dance to find those things out and bring that, structure back into your life. So, but you have to find yourself and know yourself in order to do that. You got to know as a person, do I like reading? If you don't like reading, get the audio book.
Right.
But you still have to learn. You still have to, engage information. So my number one thing is knowing yourself. And once you know yourself, you can know how you learn and know how you want to move yourself forward. And at the end of the day, when you find yourself, there'll be no one else to blame about, your progress or your failures. It'll be all on you.
I love that. Excellent advice. So very true. Something I think that we just need to keep reiterating over and over and over. You definitely need to know business skills, because you are a business owner, a freelance business owner, and know yourself is excellent, excellent advice. So thank you so much, Anthony, for
You're
taking
welcome.
time on the go to, sit and talk with us and share your story and all about Dance Mogul Magazine. You guys make sure you go to dancemogul.com to check out all of the insight and inspiration that they share there. And until next time, happy dancing, folks. Bye.